Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll just chant mantras and then last three mantras. Ishavasya sarvam, Ishavasya sarvam, Yatkincha jagatyam jagat, Yatkincha jagatyam jagat. तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् शतगुं समाः जिजीविषेत् शतगुं समाः एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे न कर्म लिप्यते नरे असूर्यानाम ते लोकाः असूर्यानाम ते लोकाः अन्धेन तमसावृता अन्धेन तमसावृता तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः ये के चात्महनो जनाः। असूर्या नामते लोकाः, those worlds of asuras. In English, they translate worlds of devil, which is not true. We don't have a devil with us, okay, by the way. The worlds of asuras, and which are covered with blinding darkness. And who goes, mean those who are atmahanaha, those who kill themselves. Those people go to this loka after giving up this body, after their death. That is a translation of the mantra. Now, yesterday we left at the point questioning that if Atma is not subject to birth and death, Shastra says Atma cannot be destroyed by any Mahabhutas, neither by earth, nor fire, nor water, nor Vayu, etc. And how can these people destroy Atma Hano Janaha? Those who kill the self. This word, killing, is in a secondary sense. Killing is not in a primary sense. Self, as I said, cannot be killed, cannot be destroyed, and so nobody can kill oneself, first of all, much less you can kill your Atma, that is Satchidananda. What is in the sense of killing? It is in the sense of contempt, sense of disrespect, sense of dishonor, sense of insult. This is, or abuse, is called killing. To disrespect something to abuse something or dishonor, or you can say this, you can say contempt is also killing. That is a primary meaning. So, the self which is Satchidananda, which is limitless consciousness, not subject to any modifications, which we will see in the next mantras. At least simple, the self that is happiness, fullness, ananda. To look upon that self as a dukhi, not samanya dukhi, generally dukhi, but param dukhi. Nobody can be unhappy like me. There is that thinking. That self-estimation is called killing the self. One thing. Now, this here in the context, even this self which is body-mind complex at the moment, as of now, this human body accompanied with human subtle body. You see, it goes together. We have a human body and therefore we have a special subtle body which has a special capacities, indriyas and prana also different. We have seen in Tattva Bodha, subtle body consists of the 17 constituents. Pancha Gnanendriyani, Pancha Karmendriyani, Pancha Pranaha, Manaschaika, Buddhishchaika. Saptadashakala. 5 senses of perception, 5 senses of action, and 5 pranas and mind and buddhi. All 17 make it subtle body. Now that body is always in alignment or attuned with or in correspondence to sthula body. Rather than, let us say, according to subtle body, we will have a sthula body. Like lion or any carnivorous animal, they eat raw meat. And to digest that raw meat, you require a different type of prana. Samana vayu, which comes samikaranavan. It's a different prana. To see the things, eyes, pancha gnanendriyani. Their eyes can see different things. Their ears can hear differently. Elephant has a different ears. Elephant has a different type of pranas. Even to eat raw leaves, to digest them, you require a different kind of samana vayu. You require a vyana vayu also differently. So human body has a special pancha gnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and pranas, and mind and buddhi. The mind is seat of emotions. How many shades of emotion we have? So-called negative emotions, so-called negative, are absolutely missing in case of animals. Have you ever seen a dog, a street dog, or 2 neighbors' dogs? They just will befriend with each other because by sheer acquaintance. Whatever may be the breed. One guy has a Mercedes and high-end sedan cars. And this other fellow is a simple guy, middle class, lower middle class. He has just a Honda City and Maruti car. This fellow, takes the dog out in a Maruti car, and the other one takes his dog out in a Mercedes. They don't have any complex of superiority, inferiority, or jealousy. That emotion is missing. That love, look at the shades of love we have. There is a love between siblings they have. Until that love lasts till what? You forget about love. They recognize their sibling as long as they are dependent on their mother and father for their food. Once they are on their own, they don't know who is my brother and who is my sister. They don't care to know also. We may say that this dog that we have, that mother is in the 6th house or the same apartment. Our friends has this dog, and she delivered, and this is this baby, and she delivered two puppies, and one is given to their cousin who is in other part of the country. But dog doesn't know that my mom is on the 7th floor and I am on the 13th floor. Doesn't know. Love is there with the master, but human love, look at the shades. Love between parents and the son is different, and the love for the daughter is different, and the father's son is different sometimes, and mother's son is different. Father's daughter is different, and mother's daughter is different. If the girl is older and the brother is younger, the brother is always a baby brother, and she is the second mother to that brother by just sheer difference of 5-7 years. And if brother is older and the sister is younger, he is the second father, controller. Where had you been? And you should ask me, and blah, blah. With friends and office and different shades, the human mind. And buddhi also is special. They have some knowledge, capacity to know. But they know only this much, what is useful for their survival. Nothing. For their karma, for their pleasure, whatever they know they can identify. This is for their biological urges, that this particular animal belongs to my breed, and you contact that person for my biological urges. That's it. They don't know anything beyond that. All knowledge is with reference to their survival. This is from these animals I should be afraid of. This I should not be afraid of, and this is how I can connect. That's all. Human being has a special buddhi where you can gain unlimited, in a way relatively, knowledge and variety, shades of emotions you can have. So this human birth, when I say human birth, means human body accompanied by human subtle body, is meant for dharma and moksha. It is designed for it. As they say, it is cut out for it. It is designed for dharma and it is designed for moksha. And not to use it for that. Dharma can gain you so much of punya that you can earn much subtler and much deeper sensual pleasures hereafter in different lokas, or coming back over here. And for a longer time. Dharma, punya karma. Not artha kama, they can give you pleasure and security as long as you are alive. And that too in a limited way. You feel you are secure, but that doesn't really give security. That is so clear nowadays. People save money a lot of this and have contacts because it gives security. Nowadays people tell me, Swamiji, please bless and pray for us that I may not have corona. And then it is very costly. I said, yeah, I just give every day 50,000 lakh of rupees, and once you return almost 20 lakhs. Yeah, that is not an issue. I have money for my whole family to spend extra. But to get a good hospital is very difficult. Admission to the hospital. All my contacts are there. I thought I can get it. But such and such a fellow did not get in, and he had to go to government hospital, and because of not treatment, ill treatment, and he died, and that fellow died, and insecure. Nothing. So it remains insecure and hungry for pleasure, but then dharma can give you, and ultimately this body or this birth can give you moksha. And not to use for it is disrespect, is a misuse of it, and that is called killing of the self. There is a story, a very popular story about the human birth. Mahatmas often tell this, that this fellow, Mahatma in those days used to travel and then village, and Used to come to one village, and one Shraddhalu fellow always gave him accommodation, and then used to give bhiksha and do seva. And after some acquaintances, 3-4 visits, he told to Mahatma, Guruji, do something for me. He says, what? I don't have money. Pray for me, money. Mahatma said, okay, he did something, prayers and all that, but nothing worked out as he had expected. So 2-3 visits, he was just after him, give me something you can do. And he gave him a stone. Oh, you'll have money, have this. Mahatma went away. So as a typical Hindu, started worshipping the stone, did some puja and abhisheka and all that. It looked like a Shivalinga. So made a Shivalinga of silver. It said this can give you unlimited wealth. Forget it. So he believed and did pujas and made a special silver stand, as in English, but Gujarati we call it thadu, to put the lingam. And after 1 year, all pujas, nothing changed. So he got so annoyed and hurt and angry. So one day he took that stone and threw it in the garden. After some time, his wife, there is a special stone in those villages to make chutney. A big hole here inside, and there is one stone with which you smash it. So then she was moving in the garden, and her stone was not up to the mark. So she saw this, she thought this is a better stone to make chutneys. So she picked up and started grinding the things in, like for chutney and all other things. And after 3-4 years, when Mahatma again on his travel came there, he says, he was not so enthusiastic to welcome Mahatma. Mahatma was wondering why he is not enthusiastic and why is he like this. And then finally, still Mahatma came. He said, then he made all excuses. We have this and that. Mahatma said, I am going tomorrow. Don't worry. I'm not going to stay more, just one night. Okay. Then while leaving, Mahatma asked him, I gave you stone. What happened? He said, what stone? You just fooled me. You promised that it will give a lot of wealth as much as I want, and nothing happened. I look at this stand, silver stand I spent for it. And then I did puja for 1 year and gave money to Brahmanas, and they did pujas, nothing happened. I threw it in the garden. Now my wife is using it to smash the ginger and few other chutneys. Mahatma did like this and smiled. He said, you really told your prarabdha for no money. He said, why? This is called as a paras money. That was a special stone, which is in our mythology, there is one stone, paras money. Whatever metal it touches, it converts that metal into gold. You just need few iron rods and just touch it, it becomes a gold. Even a huge pipe becomes golden pipe. So he could have money, but that stone, paras money, he used it for making chutney. Now, this human body can give moksha. It is much more than paras money. It is used for artha and kama. That is called atmahanojana. That is called killing the self. And this is a mantra which glorifies both. It ensures not to use the body for moksha, but implies the glory of the human birth. The blessings, the gift that you and I enjoy having had a human birth, and therefore you have to maximize these particular blessings. We have to use it properly, and there is glorifying the human birth. There are so many mantras in Shastra. This mantra is talking about those who misuse or abuse. But how great this is, then it is said. There is a grantha called Sanat Sujatiya, part of the very text. And Yo anyatha santamatmanam anyatha pratipadyate kim tena na krutam papam chorena atma apaharina. Anyatha santam atmanam anyatha pratipadyate. The self which is different, the self which is Sachidananda, he one knows him to be totally opposite, Dukhi, Martya, etc. That person is called Chora, is a thief. And what papa this fellow has not committed? Who is Atma Bahari, who is looted the self, who is abusing the self. And there is a beautiful shlokas from Vivek Chudamani. What is the human birth? What is the glory of human birth? He says, Mahata punya pannena kritayam kaya naustvaya param dukkhadodhehe gantum tarayavanna vidyate. Every birth in any loka is in return of punya and papa. Suppose you go to heaven. Going to heaven is a barter. You exchange the punya. According to your punya, quantum of punya, you get types of the pleasure and the number of days and number of types of the accommodation, etc. All kinds of things. So you buy that heaven body by spending your punya, credit. All urdhva lokas, different lokas. You get it. That is in lieu of your karmas, the karma phalas. Now, Vivek Chudamani says, Mahata punya pannena. You have bartered for this human birth by giving lots of punya. It's a very rare punya. See, Swargaloka may earn some yoni and some bhoga, but to get a human birth requires lots and lots of punya. It's a special requirement. Mahata punya pannena kritayam. You have bought it, this particular body. What it is like a boat. It is like a ship. Kritayam. So, for what? This ship is meant for what? He says boat in a way. But then Kritayam nauhu tvaya. You have bought this boat for what? Param dukkha dodhehe gantum. Dukkha udadehe. Udadhi means ocean. Dukkha udadehe. The ocean of dukkham. It's endless dukkham, limitless dukkham. Varieties of dukkham. Full of afflictions. That ocean of pain, agony, dukkha, that which is limitless almost, to cross over that. This boat or a ship is bought to cross over this ocean of dukkha, and therefore he says, Tara yavanna vidyate, before it perishes, before it comes to end, before you die, please cross the ocean of samsara, for which it is meant, for which you have bought this deha, for which you are gifted this sharira, and therefore please cross this ocean of samsara. Another shloka, Vivek Chudamani, which is more applicable to especially to the students who are studying Vedanta, especially to all those who have had some exposure to Shastra, some exposure to Vedanta. It applies to them. He says, Nru deha madhyam sulabham durlabham, sulabham sudurlabham, plavam sukalpam guru karna dharam, mayanukulena vate ritena nabhastvaritena uman bhavabdhim nataret saha atmaha. Then he says that fellow is also atmaha, killer of the self. Who is that? Nrudeham, this Manushya Shariram, Adyam Sulabham. It is the best among all the yonis. It is the ultimate among all the yonis, all types of birth. Our Shastra talks of 84 lakhs types of birds, species. Yoni we call it. Among them, this is the best. Sudurlabham plavam sukalpam kurukarnadharam. It is very rare. Very rare in terms of probability also. Think of a city where you live in, where the total population is 84 lakhs, and you are the one selected by lottery system. It's just rare enough there. And in 84 lakhs also, varieties of permutations and combinations of karma phala, endless. And to this, still it becomes easy to gain when you have a special punyas and you got it. Then sukalpam guru karnadharam. Not only you got a human birth, but you got a guru. Karnadharam means the one who is ready to drive as a captain of your boat. The teacher who knows how to navigate the boat out of the sea. The captain has all the maps and he knows how to navigate in the ocean in spite of all kinds of aquatic animals and waves and breakers, everything. And storms, in spite of the storms, who is a very dexterous captain who can take you to the shore. Having gained that, Mayanukulena namaste. And you have an extra grace from me. What is an extra grace? Not only you got a guru, but then you got a condition, the situation, life situation, which is in a way conducive for you to pursue. That way, everybody has some problems in their life. Everybody has some issues to be dealt with in their life. Nobody is free from it. But then, at least it will come in the later part of it, some resources for my reasonable survival and reasonable comfort are given to me. There is no impeding problem which doesn't let me do what I want to do at a given time. No, like health impediments or relatives impediments or social issues, nothing. Mayanukulena navastvarite teritam. So I am also like that wind which is favoring the ship. Wind is blowing in the same direction where the ship is going, and it is not too much windy so that the ship may have another issues. It is very conducive wind. And still, that person, Puman, that person, Bhavabdhim na taret, one who doesn't cross the ocean of samsara, who doesn't work to cross for the ocean of samsara, sa atmaha, he is a killer of himself, oneself. That person is atmaha. So, in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan says this, Ashcharya. It is just wonder. I have no words. That you get a teacher, of course, and then you get a teacher who can teach, and that you have opportunities to learn. This is and there it is mentioned, Shrutvapina Veda Kaschit. In spite of having a good teacher, competent teacher, in spite of the fact that God has gifted this person with the conditions that he or she can learn, and he or she has a relative mind also, which can comprehend the Shastras, and if one fails, Shrutvapina Veda Kaschit, if they don't know, There Shankaracharya ji writes, Abhaginaha jana. In Gujarati, abhagyo hai. That is ill, bad luck person, the worst luck, that so much of impossibilities have got together to become a possibility. And if you don't get it, it is greatest sin. That Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, in Radharanyaka Upanishad, there is a mantra that Yajnavalkya, sage Yajnavalkya, talking to Gargi says, he says, Atmanam aviditva yah praiti sakrupanaha. That person is miser. Who dies before, praiti means who leaves this body without knowing himself. Why? The greatest wealth, please listen this, the greatest wealth, or you can say unquantifiable wealth that we have is buddhi. There is a vakya, rakshata, 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 koshanam api kosham. Please protect, please protect, please protect, emphasizing the need to protect. What is it? The treasure of the treasure. In front of which treasure, all treasures are worthless. That is our buddhi. And classic example is Ravana. What amount of riches that fellow had. He may have some grams of gold, maybe kilo, 5 kilo, 10 kilo gold. Indian may have sometimes in India. But then that fellow had a whole city made up of gold. What amount of riches? What amount of power he enjoyed? Devatas were servants. What amount of pleasure he had. The city had this pleasure. The state provided, like social security and healthcare, etc. It is mentioned in Ramayana, at every street corner there was a pub, okay? And drinks were available free to every citizen. You just go and have it. How much the king must be having. Think of the pleasures. Still, just because of this treasure was not working properly, wrong thinking, wrong values, improper decisions, he lost everything. So that the costliest or most unquantifiable treasure is our buddhi. And buddhi is given, buddhi has a capacity to do viveka. Please understand. Discrimination. It can that is how we work. What to do, what not to do. In fact, forget about doing. The viveka starts from morning. Should I get up or not? Should I wake up or not? First viveka. It's too early. The fellow will try to sleep. And if he wakes up, then the second viveka, should I get up out of the bed or continue checking my WhatsApp messages and my Twitter account or not? From there viveka starts. This viveka he can give you, is capable of making nitya anitya viveka, satya mithya viveka. You can gain moksha. Buddhi can get you. This is just, please understand in the context. In a way, it's the wrong word. Can get you limitlessness. That is you. Buddhi can help you to discover that you are Purna, you are limitless. Can help you to discover you are Ananda. And as Puja Swamiji rightly said, quite sometimes, some people ask also, Swamiji, I appreciate that is good, moksha and ananda and all that. It looks good, but it's okay. I may not get it. I'm happy with my possessions and pleasures that I have in this life. I'll try next time. I'm okay. As of now, I don't want to exert myself so much to moksha. No, to come to ashram for 3 years and study, and then you are always insisting on Vyakarana and Panini class and all these classes, and I'm just relaxed. I'm just enjoying myself. I'll try next Janma. Just then he didn't tell that person, but in the class certain things come out, so you know it is from there. You happen to be there. He said, if you miss the infinity, the loss is infinite. And if you gain the infinity, gain is infinite. And to gain this infinite gain, listen this, to gain this infinite gain that is you, Bhagavan has gifted you buddhi. Buddhi is primarily meant to discover that fullness that is you, to discover the ananda that is you. And if you miss ananda, you will be only dukhi. World may say you are sukhi, you have so many things and this and that. But it's so fragile, Vishayananda. Life is so fickle, first of all, and fragile. Little change here and there makes you unhappy. Not only makes you unhappy, brings a crisis for you. Whole life turns into 180 degrees. Sometimes a person or the whole family and the friends and everybody turns. It's so fickle. Human life is like that. And you just require not some disease or something. You just require a little frown from somebody. That's it. Changes in the expression of one person can create nth number of problems. So, if you miss that Atma Ananda, you miss Ananda. There is nothing which is equivalent to, even comparable to in any which way to this self, which is Ananda, which is limitless. That is a freedom. Freedom is not physical. It is purely cognitive. You appreciate your own freedom. In spite of difficult situations and problems, you are relaxed from within. You know this is how it is, full stop. And you miss the freedom, it means you miss the infinity. If you don't, the loss is infinite. And if you gain the infinity, the gain is infinity. And therefore, the person, He Gargi, etam atmanam aviditva asmat lokat praiti sakrupana. The person who doesn't even try, doesn't even expose himself or herself to this wisdom, which is right available to him or her. And some of them are so lucky that they come across a right teacher and right person. This is a problem of improper priorities. Ultimately, problem of maturity, lack of self-growth, lack of larger vision, larger picture about themselves, lack of discrimination about what have I gained and what can I gain. It is missing. When that is not there, even if it is given, they don't gain. And we have, as I said, any amount of acquisition, any amount of possession can never ever make the human being happy. The classic example is Ravana. He had both everything, riches and pleasure and the power and you name it, he had it. And that too, that which you cannot even imagine, that he had it. Still, one Sita was enough to create hell in his mind. Something else, because wrong thinking. Buddhi doesn't see properly. There is no objectivity in the life also. That vairagya, little vairagya is necessary. There is no right evaluation of one's own possessions and situations. That person is called miser. So there are so many like this, so many shlokas, even in Keno Upanishad. Generally, Upanishad doesn't talk like this. Bhagavad Gita also doesn't talk like this. Shastra primarily reveals the truth. Shastra primarily reveals yourself. That you should work for this, Shastra is not meant for it. One who has already discerned this, one who has understood that Viveka is there, and Viveka born Vairagya, that relative freedom, inside freedom. Vairagya means objectivity. Relatively, mind is free. No cobwebs, no hurt, no guilt, nothing. That person is addressed by Shastra. Okay, now you want it, have this. But even then, somewhere here and there, in Upanishad, you find this mantra. In Upanishad said, Ihached avedi tatha satyam asti. It is satyam. It is true to yourself. What iha asmin janmani avedit. If you know the self while you are in a human body, satyam asti. That means you have used this human body properly. It's the right thing. It's a proper thing. You did it. It's a proper usage of the body. Nached iha avedit. In case you don't know, you don't use this body to know the self, mahati vinashti. There is a loss, but what kind of loss? Mahati, great loss. As I said, if you miss infinity, loss is also infinite. Vice versa, if you gain infinity, if you know infinity as yourself, the gain is infinity. And if you don't know it, that means you miss the infinity, loss is also infinite. Therefore, mahati vinashti. Gita ji also, there are shlokas, Bhagavan says, talks about those who pursue this moksha shastra. He says, siddhaha. They are the real accomplished person. Accomplishment, I see or I find today, is measured in terms of the position that you hold in a company, the possessions that you have, type of the car and the mobile and the house and this, that person is accomplished. Recognition in the society is an accomplished person. Bhagavan says, one who pursues moksha is a real accomplished person. He is on the right path. The person, his life is moving in the direction of moksha is a siddha. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tat. Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschid yadati siddhe. In the 7th chapter, Bhagavan says among millions and millions of human beings, very rare one will pursue for moksha. And those who are pursuing for moksha, yatatam api siddhanam. They are siddha, they are accomplished people. Because at least they have discerned the problem and they are clear about the priorities, they are clear about their purushartha. Among them, yatatam api siddha, therefore they are accomplished. Very rare person, very rare few will know me. So there is a praise of human birth in Shastra. The one who doesn't do that is called Atmahano Janaha, killer, one who kills himself. Means who wastes this human birth. It is like using that paras money, philosopher's stone as they translate in English, in making chutney, which is, the fellow could have not only become rich, would have made the whole village rich. just gifted them, touching their iron items and gifted them. Be rich, have it, have it. It is like that Midas touch, that our English story, King Midas. So it was given to him. See, Indian version of Midas is better. That Midas could not touch his daughter because she turned into gold. This fellow can have Graha Sukham, Patni Sukham, Putri Sukham, Putra Sukham, and still can touch through the stone and would have lots of gold as much as he wants. This is iPhone 11, improvised version of Shastras, improvised version, a better version than the English version. Any lighter way of saying, forget it. Anyway, so this fellow, such as I said, there are so many shlokas and mantras in Upanishad and Gita and other Prakarana Granthas like Vivek Chudamani, etc. These are Atmahano, the person who doesn't pursue moksha, the person who has not discerned about the Purushartha. Primary Purushartha is Arthakama. If you don't have moksha, if you miss infinity, that is moksha, you miss infinity, your loss is infinite. And that person is, what happens to them? Asurya namate loka. Andhena tamasavrata. Tamste pratyabhigachanti. After death, after giving up this body, they go to the lokas of asuras. See, one thing our Shastra talks about. Akarane pratyavaya. If you don't do what is to be done, there is a dosha, there is a papa, there is a sin. Now there is a big discussion in the Shastra. Karma can produce the phala, provided the karma is performed. If I don't do karma at all, there is a question of sin, because it is not performed. Karma can produce it. Phala means a result of a karma. The result comes only when karma is performed. Shastra may say, if you kill somebody, then you will go to hell. Killing takes you to hell. But just by knowing that killing takes you to hell, I don't go to hell unless I kill. Unless the action is performed, how can it produce a result? So Shastra, when it says, Akarane pratyavaya dosha, these are mandate. Like some of the vakyas, Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Swadhyayo adhyetavyaha. You must do Swadhyaya. And if you don't do that, Akarane pratyavaya dosha. If you don't do your kartavya karma, there is a dosha. But this statement doesn't sound proper. Why? If karma produces a result when performed, how can a karma, this karma, when not performed, produce a result? I didn't do what I was supposed to do. How can I say, you say that I will incur papam? So there is a logic also. Two reasons. One, we discussed yesterday in detail, what is to be done is because either I am indebted and therefore I repay that type of karmas, dev runam, pitrunam, etc. Or I do it to maintain the harmony. All kartavya karma is to maintain the srishti chakra, that in harmony. That means I am not playing my part, which I am supposed to play, however small or big. Then it will create a disharmony. Exactly like a symphony. So many orchestras, so many musicians are playing that instrument. If one or two don't play, you and I with the gross ears may not recognize, but they are breaking the symphony. They are supposed to. So it is sin, one thing. Secondly, this This is so true. If one doesn't do what is to be done, he or she will end up doing what is not to be done. If you don't do kartavya karma, what is you person will end up in performing pratishiddha karma. Because you need to do something. So, if you don't use this body for dharma and moksha, it is cut out ultimately for moksha. In our vision, dharma is also sadhanam for moksha. Though dharma is an independent purushartha in a way, but then it is not the end purushartha. In our shastra, in Hindu culture, artha kama being an independent purushartha, dharma is also an independent purushartha. Dharma can be subservient to artha kama. People do some punya karma, dharma to get some money and pleasure. But then primarily it is a purushartha independent. Artha kama are subservient to dharma purushartha. But then, though it is an independent purushartha, it is not the ultimate purushartha. Shastra is very clear. Dharma is sadhanam for moksha purushartha. To be dharmika doesn't guarantee moksha. It can aid or it can speed up, you can say, accelerate one's pursuit of moksha. But then, in itself, dharma is never considered to be the means for moksha. So, when one is not committed to dharma moksha, obviously, as I said, person will do what is not to be done. In absence of commitment to dharma or moksha, person will have commitment to artha and kama. And that too, limitless commitment to artha kama, more than you require. It is understandable that one feels the need for artha kama. It's okay, you may have it. But then much more than what you need, you have it. But still, person will end up pursuing those things, artha kama only. And that is called as andhena tamasa vrutaha asurya namate loka. That person, after death, will go to the lokas of asuras. What kind of asuras? Asura. Moment with the asura, with thing with the horns, human being with the horns, and canine teeth, and black body, and the expressions frightening, that is asura. No. True, there is a yoni called asura. There are people, like cows and dogs and cats and etc. There is a yoni called asura, but asura means sense pursuit, only artha kama. They go to those lokas where they can think of only and only sensual pleasures. The mind is riddled with varieties of fancies, varieties of desires, unsatiating thirst for pleasure and security. That is called asura loka. That means they have those kind of lives, those fields of experiences where they will end up in that. Question may come, so what? It is better. Like those theologies which promise you pleasure hereafter. Going to heaven, you will get eternal dinner, sumptuous dinner with the Lord. Or the other fellow will say, according to Hindus that you have killed, and the Kafirs that you have killed, you will get to Jannat and you will get hurrays, those themselves will get you. I don't know. It is so men chauvinism. They never mention about women. You will get, that is not there. Only man is talked about. You will get those hurrays. They call it hurray, hurray milenge. It's not that. There is something more to it. It requires little discussion. We will take it up next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.